This god's name is almost forgotten. It's really just a whisper on the winds of time, a name buried deep beneath layers of history and myth. But once, this name held real power. It commanded the respect and fear of sailors crossing unknown oceans. Not a god of sunny shores, not of gentle waves, a god of the deep, dark places, where sunlight couldn't reach. Master of hidden dangers beneath a calm surface, an ancient force predating the gods of Olympus. Not tales of glory, but primordial darkness. We remember Zeus with his thunderbolts, Poseidon with his mighty trident, Hades, the solemn king of the underworld, their stories carved into stone, bright stars of mythology. But who was there before them, the ones pushed into shadow by a new order? Phorcys, one such deity, a tale of old power replaced by the new, his power immense, children that became legendary monsters. Yet today his name draws blank stares. Time to pull back the curtain and peer into the abyss. Before the Olympians divided the cosmos, there were the protogenoi, the firstborn gods, beings of raw, immense power, personifications of the universe. Phorcys, a son of the sea in its primal form, not a throne-bound king, but the essence of the sea's hidden mysteries. His domain, the unexplored frontier, where maps ended, where monsters began. To understand him is to understand ancient Greek fears, the vast, dark unknown around their small, lit world. Let us journey back, far back, beyond the Trojan War, beyond Heracles, beyond Perseus, to when the world was still forming, an age of creation and chaos. The sea then, a living, breathing entity, filled with wonders and terrors. At the heart of its darkest mysteries, Phorcys, the dark father of the seas, keeper of secrets the waves washed away, a missing chapter waiting in the depths to be rediscovered. While Phorcys himself remains a shadowy figure, his legacy is anything but. He secured his place in mythology by becoming the father of its most terrifying monsters. He took his own sister Ceto, the goddess of sea monsters, as his consort. Their union was not one of love in the human sense. It was a conjoining of darkness and danger. Together, Phorcys and Ceto populated the world with a host of horrors that would challenge heroes for generations to come. Their children were the living embodiments of every nightmare a sailor could conjure, the ultimate obstacles for any hero seeking glory and immortality. First among their monstrous offspring were the Gorgons, Medusa Stheno Euryale, three sisters with snakes for hair and a gaze that could turn a man to stone. They lived at the edge of the world, symbols of a deadly peril that no mortal could face directly. Then there were the Graiae, the Grey Ones, three ancient sisters who shared a single eye and a single tooth between them. They were keepers of secret knowledge, personifications of old age and the wisdom that comes with it. The list of his children goes on, really. A veritable catalog of monstrous beings. In this way, Phorcys became the dark patriarch of mythology's greatest adversaries. The domain of Phorcys was not a physical kingdom with borders and castles. It was a conceptual realm. It was the vast, dark, terrifyingly unknown portion of the sea. In the ancient Greek mind, the world was a disk surrounded by the great river Oceanus. While Poseidon ruled the waves and the known seas sailors navigated for trade for travel, Phorcys held sway over what lay beyond. His was the world of the abyss, the crushing depths where no light could penetrate, the far-flung, uncharted waters where imagination ran wild with tales of monsters' impossible phenomena. He was the god of the seas here-be-dragons territories. This realm was both literal and metaphorical. Literally, it represented deep ocean trenches, distant unexplored western seas, distant unexplored southern seas. These were places few sailors ever returned from. Those who did brought back tales of horrifying beasts, impassable whirlpools. Phorcys was the divine explanation for these fears. He gave a name and a face, however shadowy, to natural dangers that made long-distance sea travel perilous. He was the silent king of a kingdom made of fear, dwelling in the dark waters of the ocean and the mind. Unlike his Olympian successors, Phorcys is not often depicted with a clear, singular symbol like a thunderbolt or a lyre. As a primordial god of the deep, his symbols are more elemental and ancient, tied directly to his domain and nature. The most common symbols associated with him are the trident and the torch. They carry a very different meaning than they do for other gods. The trident in his hands is not the symbol of kingship over the waves that it is for Poseidon. For Phorcys, the trident is a more primal tool. It represents the power to stir the murky depths, to churn the seafloor and reveal the hidden dangers that lie beneath. The torch is his other significant symbol, and it is perhaps the more intriguing one. A torch is a source of light, which seems contradictory for a god of darkness. But the light of Phorcys' torch is not the revealing light of the sun. It is the dim, eerie light of the deep ocean, the strange, cold glow of bioluminescent creatures that float in the abyss. It represents the hidden knowledge and the strange wonders that exist only in the dark. It is a light that does not dispel fear, but enhances it, revealing monstrous shapes for only a moment. Together, the trident and the torch perfectly encapsulate the essence of Phorcys. They are symbols of dread and the deadly allure of the unknown. So, if Phorcys was such a foundational figure, a primordial god and the father of mythology's greatest monsters, why was he forgotten? Why does Poseidon's name thunder through history, while Phorcys's is a barely audible whisper? The answer lies in a fundamental shift in the Greek worldview. Phorcys belonged to the old guard, the protogenoi. They were raw, personified forces of nature, untamed chaos before order. As civilization evolved, gods changed. The Olympians, led by Zeus, were different. They were anthropomorphic, human-shaped. They had complex personalities, jealousies, ambitions, relationships. They were relatable. Furthermore, the world of the Greeks was expanding. As navigation and shipbuilding improved, the sea became a highway for trade, colonization, warfare. The map was being filled in. The here-be dragon spaces were shrinking. Phorcys, the god of the truly unknown abyss, became less immediate. And so, the father of horrors faded into the background. The story of Phorcys is a powerful reminder. It tells us that history is written by the victors. In the cosmos of Greek mythology, the Olympians were the victors. They brought order to chaos. But just because a god is forgotten does not mean their power is gone. The fears that Phorcys represented are still with us. We still look out at the vast, dark ocean and feel a sense of awe and dread. We still marvel at the bizarre creatures brought up from the abyss. We are still humbled by the unknown. The essence of Phorcys, the terror of the deep and the mysterious, lingers in our collective subconscious. He is a testament to the fact that some forces are too old and too primal to ever be fully tamed or understood by civilization. But when we pull that veil back, we find a crucial piece of the mythological puzzle. We see the world as the earliest Greeks saw it. A small, fragile island of light surrounded by an infinite, threatening darkness. And he is not alone in the shadows. The veil has been lifted on the dark father of the seas. Next, we will journey from the depths of the ocean to the very winds themselves to uncover another.